Hello Taurus, and welcome to your weekly reading with me, Cindy, and Happy New Year. Our first reading together this new year, 2021, Taurus. This would have typically been like the first week for me. It would have been the Faery week. That'll be next week. I was inspired to do a different type of reading this week called Void of Course Moon reading. Now, and you'll notice too that I'm not in my regular space. So if you didn't see it, the middle of last week I posted a video about why I'm sitting in a different spot. Also about the inspiration for the reading that you were getting this week, born through something going on in my own life. And then even further explanation to go a little more in depth, I think I do, the Void of Course Moon. So here's the card that inspires this reading this week. Void of Course. So there's a link in the description to that other video if you want to get all that sweet juicy information about why I'm sitting in a different spot, what's going on with me, why are we doing Void of Course Moon. Yeah, and you can see that there. And there's also, so this reading, there is an extended at the end. There's a link at the top of the description. In the extended, I continue to pull cards to see where the energy continues to go in the future cycle for you. So in this reading, Void of Course Moon, everybody has this card this week. Void of Course is a very interesting period of time for the moon's cycle. So the moon cycles through each zodiac, 12 of them, through about a 28-day period of time. And when it's going from one zodiac energy to another one, there's a period of time where it's not in either one. Now, when it's a true void of course, that means it's only influenced by its own energy. So there's no other outside energy affecting it. And that is usually about a 24-hour period to have a true void of course moon. So, you're getting that. So what this reading is going to be about, we're going to look at the cycle that you're ending. So if you were the moon and you were moving through the cosmos and you were coming out of a cycle, you were just in the zodiacal energy, what was that? And then we're going to look at what are you going into? So what are you cycling into? What is your next cycle? But the really interesting time is the Void of Course, because this to me represents what you have the most influence on. Like, this is a period of time that you've been given. You've been handed this period of time. It's sort of an in-between. You're not in the past anymore, but you're not quite in the future. And the decisions and choices that you make are not really influenced. You're not influenced by the past or the future. This is completely open to you. So in some ways, like my own experience, I was saying, oh my gosh, I'm not really ready for this. But then as I kind of got more comfortable with it, I thought, no, I really like this. This is kind of cool. So let's actually get started in the reading. So I am using the Moonology deck. Everything is in there except the Void of Course Moon. It stays out. It's the theme. So we're going to look at the cycle that you are leaving, what to do or what will be going on in your Void of Course energy, your in-between. And then in your future cycle, the cycle that you are heading towards, that you are going to be entering. And if I'm looking out into the backyard and I have my bird feeders out there. If you see me looking out there, it's just like eye candy. It's squirrels and birds at the bird feeder. So I'm not completely, I'm not out of focus on the reading. But you know when you just kind of look at something and so I'm using 3 different oracle decks, and I'm using a tarot deck, and of course one of my teeny tiny tarot decks. And I'm not going to say much to you until it's all out. I'm thinking too, I think I've only got one more week of readings, and then I think this orthodontic contraption comes out of my mouth. Lord knows what they'll put in next. But I think this one's coming out. Yep. I had a feeling I knew what was going on here in this past cycle, and then the first card I pulled out was like, bam, that's exactly what it is. I love it when that happens. I see exactly what's going on here for you, Taurus. I might actually start to speak about it before I get the final tarot card out. It looks like you're coming out of a cycle, basically. You're coming out of a cycle where you've had a lot of guidance, a lot of spiritual protection, even around you, a lot of spiritual guidance around you. Ancestral guides, archangels, anything that you are feeling like, yeah, I know what you're saying, Cindy. Like if you feel like something or someone is protecting or guiding you, it doesn't even have, you know, and it could be showing up in the 3 dimension. Like it could be someone that's been a friend or a family member, something. It's been showing up in your life somehow. And it has kind of been directed by spirit. And, you know, I mean, it's not like the movies. I mean, most of us don't see like angels out in the open and, you know, the heavens open up and everything is one. It's usually like things play out around us through people that we meet. Wow, yeah. I've seen a letting go. You know what this looks like? Before I get into the nitty gritty, the simplest way to describe this is like a little child. Okay, you're the little child, Taurus. And mommy or daddy or guardian, someone bigger than you who knows how to walk, is holding your little hands and your little stubby feet, your little chubby stubby feet, been kind of getting their grounding and being led somewhere. Or just learning how to walk, like helping you teach yourself how to walk, helping you teach yourself how to walk, helping to support you while you get your balance. Okay, so, right, you know the whole process, holding the little one's hands and then kind of let go of one hand. Okay, you got that, and then both hands, boop, on the butt. Okay, up, do it again, boop, on the butt, up, do it again. And so I feel like that's kind of like your past cycle, and you're moving into the letting go. The hands are kind of being released here. And it's a little bit, I want to say, you're probably feeling a little bit nervous. Your void of course is literally a void space. You may feel like all of a sudden the breadcrumb trail is run dry. You may feel like, oh, wait a second, you're sitting on the rug and, I want to get up and want to walk over there. I don't want to crawl anymore. I want to walk. But nobody's here to hold me up. Where'd mommy go? Where'd daddy go? Where are those big people? Like, just that, what happened? I have to do it on my own now. I don't know if I'm ready. I just feel that in the void course. And then, going into your future cycle, you're going to become very practical. You're going to become practical, but also a very practical sense in how, okay, nobody's here, I'm going to lift myself, I'm going to try it, but what's the best way to maybe do it? Maybe I should get on my hands and knees first and then lift myself up. Or should I just come out of a deep sumo squat and then do, right? Like, how do I get myself up again? Taking a practical approach to this. Like, your void of course, I feel like the point in time between your past and your future, you're going to feel a little bit lost, but in that, wow, look at, like, it's time to let go. It's just everything. It's time to let go. It's time to get ready to walk through the gate. Let me start showing you the cards. The cards. The message just started like coming out like this whole storyline, and I just needed to let it flow before it was gone. Okay, so let me show you the cards. You have faith in your dreams, waxing crescent moon, outer spirit, you are never alone. And then you have door to spirit and the magician. Do you see what I mean? Like how much you are never alone, door to spirit. Have faith in your dreams, manifest. The cycle, if you're in this cycle still, you're getting close to the end. Yeah, I just want to say that whenever you're getting the reading, if it's resonating with you, the reading is kind of timeless when you come to it. It's kind of meant for you at that time. So you're getting ready to, spirit I want to say is actually the one more so getting ready to release the hand. Mommy or daddy have been like, okay, I have other things I need to do. I'm doing this with you for a few weeks now. You got to get up on your own and do it. Come on, let's go. Do it. I got to go. So it's kind of like a little bit like that. The release is coming, but I really feel like in this past cycle, or the cycle that you're just about to come out of, Spirit has been very attentive. Maybe it doesn't always feel like that, but times when it hasn't felt like that, it's asking you to kind of have faith in yourself. It's trying to build that up for you, to have a little more faith in you. But Spirit has been very close to you. Very close to you in your past cycle. Now, your void of course, kind of the energy that is just you. It's just kind of you sitting in this void, not being in the past and not being in the future yet. A time to give rather than take. New Moon in Virgo, Groundhog Spirit. Time to let go. And I feel like this card right here, a time to give rather than take. Don't take the guidance from Spirit anymore. It's time to give to you. That's how I really see that. It's a time to give to you rather than take the assistance from Spirit in this void, okay? This void doesn't exist for like a whole long period of time. Like the actual void of course moon, it can sit in that energy for sometimes just a couple of hours. That's actually the more common aspect for it. It's a lot more rare. It's much more rare for the void of course moon to occur for like a 24-hour period. So it's not going to necessarily be a long period of time, but it is where the release happens, the letting go. It's time, instead of taking the guidance from what's outside and around you, it's time to give to you. Give yourself the guidance here. Get ready to do that. And then you have the Garden and the Gate and the Seven of Cups. This is getting ready to go beyond where you are, beyond where you feel comfortable, beyond where you kind of have a lot of your needs met. But what's out there? Like, there's not much out in that field, at least from where she's standing, right? But there's an awful lot of area for seeds to be planted. There's an awful lot of opportunity. There's an awful lot of new experiences waiting to come to you through that gate. And look, like the Seven of Cups, there's so much yet to be determined. Because what I'm feeling here is that there's so much that is yet to be determined for you, because you are the active participant. You are the only energy in this void of course. It is up to you. Now that doesn't mean you're going to walk through the gate, oh my God, I have to make a choice. Do I do this or do I do that? Is that going to change the course of my life for the next 20 years? Like, probably not. All it's going to do is start planting little seeds in this huge field that's out there. And it's still a cornucopia of possibilities for you. And you're going to have to make those choices. Do I really like that? No. I cling to that for a bit. You know, I think maybe I should invest myself over here a little more. It's kind of like getting you ready to do that. Now, in the cycle that you are entering, that you are going to be approaching, your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. I love it. It's your energy. Butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful. It feels very much to me like when you enter this new cycle, you have transformed. You have been going through the transformation. This is why Spirit has been so protective. If you've ever come across in the winter, for those of you that live in a climate where you get snow and the temperatures can be quite extreme, and you come across like a cocoon, a chrysalis, that's kind of nestled in behind like a big piece of rugged bark, and it sits in there, and you think like, gosh, it's so precarious, like it's so vulnerable. If a bird comes by and happens to find it and picks it, and you know, it's great for the bird, but that's it, it's over. You kind of wonder like, well, maybe there is just, some of them are getting lucky, or there's little tiny chrysalis angels around them to keep them safe. That's kind of what this has been for you. The chrysalis angels have been around you. It's time to let go. It's time to let go of the past. It's time to walk through the gate. It's time to give yourself the opportunities to make choices. Because it and so I feel like this now, like feeling trapped in a chrysalis all that time, maybe felt very confining, and that other times could be very habit forming. Oh, you know, being a hermit is pretty good. I think I want to stay in here. Actually, I can relate. I'm not, well, my moon is in Taurus, so maybe I can relate to this with you guys a bit. Yeah, like, if you've been going through a healing cycle, you're coming out on the other end here, actually like finally feeling, this is what it was all for. This is what it was all about. Like, look at the beauty of that butterfly, fully outstretched. The wings are out, ready to go. This is who I am. This transformation was beautiful. It just didn't feel like it when it was going on. If you think about it, like the poor caterpillar, I think it kind of liquefies in there. Like its whole body. It's a massive physical, emotional, spiritual, mental transformation. And because you come out on this other side here, pretty different than what you were over here, you come out very grounded and you come out in your true energy. And I like it because your dreams need a practical plan. That's very Taurus. Let's be practical about the situation. Now, what do we need? What do I need here? What suits my needs? What is the best way to create a 10-year plan for whatever my goal? Like, that feels very Taurian. But Spirit has not completely left you. 6th chakra and the 9 of Swords. I feel like there's going to be periods of time where I do want to clarify this particular. I'm going to go right to this right away, because what I'm getting right now is that you will continue to have guidance. You will continue to have support, but it won't be at the level that you've had it before. But it will come in times of like deep need, when you do have a deep need for support, when you are feeling completely lost, or you are feeling completely confused or frustrated. You will have that support. But I feel more so though that you kind of need to ask for it with the 6th chakra. Like, you sort of need to be the one to kind of open up and either sit down in a meditative practice, say a prayer, whatever it is, to kind of like get a communication going, or ask for an answer to something that you don't know. It's not going to be like a breadcrumb trail. So let's clarify. I want to clarify that right away for you. Kind of get an idea of what energetically maybe that could cause you going into your new cycle anxiety. Do we ever leave anxiety? And I mean that in the sense, like, do we ever, all of us, get to a point in life where we never have decisions to make that don't seem like they could have a major effect on the outcome of our life? So to me, that's kind of like what the 9 of Swords can be like. Am I making the right choices here? Am I doing the right thing? And it's the 6th chakra is connecting again. Connecting with your deeper self even. You know, you talk about the universe, and we always kind of forget too as readers to maybe enforce the idea a little more that when you connect with the universe, when you connect with your guides, it's not so much your mind and your ego and your intellect as it is your soul, the piece of you that's always existed and always has been and is part of the universe, is part of the conscious collective mind. So it's kind of, the ego is really, and the intellectual mind is the one aspect that can really get us into the 9 of Swords, right? And this is where I think the 6th chakra kind of comes into emotional and spiritual intelligence. If you don't have that, intellectual intelligence will only get you so far, really, because it's not a very a holistic approach to existing. I mean, the world is very holistic. There are so many elements to it. So for not to forget that you always have that inner compass to guide you. The 9 of Swords. Oh, the 7 of Wands. And the Ace of Wands. Okay, I'm trying to, I don't want to forget the second message. The first message that came in for me was a lot of possibilities. A lot of possibilities in terms of things that really drive you. Things that you are passionate about. Which one do you choose? I mean, it looks so simple, right? I mean, that's the first thing that came out, is trying to hold these back with the Seven of Wands. Like, which one? Oh my gosh. Which one? Because I want one. I want one to focus on, and I want my new beginning to be, like, clear. I don't want it to be confused with all this other energy. The other message I'm getting, see, it started to slip away. The second one was more about, like, what the Seven of Wands can be, like, kind of being defensive here, kind of being a little bit apprehensive about new beginnings. But I don't think you should, I don't really, right, like, let's see why. Because it feels like you really come out transformed here. So perhaps there's some sort of old energy or patterns that you haven't fully left behind. Maybe the butterfly is still remembering the good old days on the milkweed with his little caterpillar friends. I wonder who they are now, or where they've gone. I may never see them again. Like, you know, like this kind of, even that reminiscent energy. Like, why? There's still so much that's unknown. I kind of feel like, and you know, this is interesting, because that was the High Priestess. I'm sorry, I'm sitting further away. That was the High Priestess card. When, like, this sort of energy right here is a lot of spiritual guidance. It's a lot of spiritual protection. And there may have been, you know, I could see, like, sort of a comfort zone in terms of navigating through life, right? Like, well, if you are that little child learning to walk for the first time, well, it's so easy to do it. I'm holding somebody's hands who's really big and stable. I can go anywhere. And yeah, I got them wrapped around my little finger. They'll do this all day with me. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to... It's a little bit like, well, now, oh, I don't know what will happen if I go down there. It's almost kind of, almost getting into a little bit of the toddler. But yet the toddler is kind of curious. They can get themselves into trouble. But if they do that enough times, they kind of learn, like, that really hurt, or I really got in trouble. And then there's, I'm kind of feeling like, how do I make these choices? I'm feeling like you're going to feel this reduction, let's say, in guidance. Because there's going to be more unknown to you. Now, that also tells me, though, that you're going into a period of time where you don't need as much protection. So don't allow yourself, or try not to get too anxious about possibilities and you don't know where they're lead, or you're not sure what intentions are. You still have to work it through and see what happens in the situation. If things have to play out. Because if the universe has guided you up to a point and now it's saying, we think you're pretty good, mostly on your own here. But I think you kind of feel it's like, well, what do I do? How do I make this choice? But that's also part of, it's like, it's almost like a helicopter parent, and then they're gone. Like, oh no, now what do I do? All right. This is so clear. Actually, this really is too. Okay, let's look at the practical plan. Your dreams need a practical plan. So what aspects, how should these plans be practical? Or in what area of your life is it most important to bring some practicality in? Your dreams need a practical plan. Your dreams need... So we have the Seven of Pentacles. And if you guys are really familiar with tarot, you know how funny that is. The Seven of Pentacles is about having a plan and assessing it as you go and looking at where you've planted your seeds, and is it still... Should I still invest in this aspect of my life, or maybe I should more over here, or maybe I'll let that drop away? What's ready to harvest? What isn't? It's like, so all those things. So that's all we're going to be told. I'm not going to push it anymore. Oh, you have the King of Pentacles at the bottom. That's reversed. That's nice. See? You're on your way to really be like a solid foundation, very grounded, very successful on your journey. But I do feel like you're approaching that stage, Taurus, where the hands are going to be released, and there's going to be a period of time where you got to kind of do it on your own a little bit here, and then go. But once you've done that, I mean, you think about that. If you can think about that as a kid, like finally having that freedom. I'm going to ride my bike down the street and nobody's there. Like, there is a sense of freedom that does come with this cycle that you're going through. There's some anxiety too, but I really think the anxiety is a much smaller period of time than the freedom and the enjoyment that comes with what is kind of going on for you here. So that's what I got. I'm going to go do the extended. I'm going to continue to pull cards in this future cycle to see what continues to go on for you here. And as I said, the link is in the description. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.